I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello. Oh, Cindy, where'd you come from? I was starting to worry about you.
Kate told me to jump on.
Oh, okay, good. Well, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Christopher had something unexpected or expected come up, but we are excited. Dave Sargent's on tonight, so this is a great thing. So he did a great thing. You know, he went and saw Johnson County open their new morgue last week, and Bethany Keller joined with him. So we're just going to talk about some Madison County things and bring everybody up to date. So all you Delaware County people, thank you. If you're here, Alva, I don't know, Stumblefoot, if those guys are all on tonight and watching this. Oh, here we go. Don't forget to hit the like button. I don't know how many likes we have. Don't forget to subscribe. Ring the bell, do all those great things that you would do if Christopher were on tonight. But we would appreciate it if you made Cindy and I more popular than Christopher. And yes, it is always a competition. So we're hoping that we always outnumber Chris. It's a great thing. So yeah. So how are you doing over there?
Great. Are you talking to me, or is there someone else on here? It's me.
No, it's just you and I.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Oh, there's Nicole. Nicole's on. Alva's there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing some people pop on here. So
yeah, so it's always a good night when Alva can join us. He's always witty and has got lots of things to add. So let's start with this first part. Alva, you're going to love this. I don't know how many people go to the fair anymore, but I think there's quite a few. And there is no one, hi Janet, there's no one who can shut down a fair booth like Katherine Callahan and Nicole. So we learned about 2 weeks ago that there was a fair booth, a Republican fair booth at the Madison County Fair. So there was a sign-up sheet, and I wasn't invited to the party, but then some people noticed that I wasn't invited. So it was sent on to me. So I talked with Nicole and some other people. I'm like, hey, does anybody want to do this fair booth with us? So Nicole took the reins, and Nicole says, I will sign us up. What day is good? So I'm like, Friday's a great night. So Nicole's like, yeah, it's a busy night. Let's do Friday night. So Nicole signs us up. Well, I'm thinking, I haven't heard from Nicole. It's been a week. So I text Nicole Friday morning, and I said, hey, Nicole, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. And she's like, listen, I haven't even opened my eyes yet. What do you want? So I said, are we working the fair booth tonight? So she responds, she goes, yeah, we're definitely working the fair booth. I said, okay. So about 11 o'clock, I text Nicole again, and I'm like, hey, what are the details for the fair booth tonight? So Nicole goes, I don't know, let me check. So about 11:32, Nicole sends a message on text to Kelly Hewer. who's our vice president of or vice chair of the Republican Party. So she sends her a message on text and says, "Hey, I got on Google Doc and it's down. The Google Doc is gone." She says, "I'm just confirming that Katherine and I are working tonight." So we don't hear anything. So then at 11, not even 20 minutes later, we get an email from Kelly Hewer, and she says, "Oh, we've decided that Friday nights are not very busy at the fair. So we have decided to close up early so that it's not so rushed to get everything out of there at the end of the fair. And we're not going to have a booth for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday." Now, the weekends are the busiest times at a fair. This is a rural county. These people are getting their paychecks. Where are they going for Friday night? They're going to the booth. So, they're going to the fair. They're going to ride rides. Well, look at this. So this was, I think, like Wednesday night. This was the Republican Women's Party. And so that's Lisa Rinker there. If you wanted, you could pay $25 to the Women's Club and have a shirt. So that's why they're in these shirts. And so that's Rachel Landers and that's Jennifer Culp. They're both on the city council. So I'm looking at all this, and then Kelly Hewer's all the way to the right. There's Lisa Rinker. There's Jody Norick. There's Joni Harvey, and I think the one in black is Connie Gardner. I'm pretty sure. So they've got lots of stuff there. It was a huge area. They took up 2 spaces. They're showing you all the signs, but these are all the great things that they were doing. Well, some people showed up Friday night to help at the booth, but they also wanted to get some information. And the booth turned into, I don't know, Kate, if it turned into that.
Oh, wow.
They cleared the area. They didn't even leave any pamphlets behind.
Oh, my goodness.
Right? But the Democrats stayed in place. So Democrats were actually entertaining all of the people coming through that area when they started to ask, well, where's the Republican booth? The Democrat Party said, well, it's a funny thing. Katherine was supposed to work tonight. Now, I don't know about you, Russ and Kelly, and you brainiacs of this little, I don't know, operation, but that's probably got to be one of the most disgraceful things I have yet to see. This private party that's going on in Madison County needs to stop. And any of these people who are elected officials who have worked the booth for the week should be saying something to Kelly Hewer. Kelly Hewer needs to go. I don't know what else to say, but she needs to go. So, that's the whole big thing is to watch these guys are so, I hate to tell this to them, but I probably gain voters participation. I don't know how many people have told me I've signed up to vote because of you. I've had a ton of them. And so here you are, not even willing to have a spokesperson out there to speak on the Republican Party. You guys just close up shop. You believe you've won everything and you don't need to answer to anybody. And by golly, we'll show you, Katherine. We're going to take our ball and we're going to go home. Well, okay. I mean, you're only hurting yourselves because, they can't get out of their own way. They're cutting off their nose to spite their face.
Sure.
So this was just a really interesting thing. And everybody knows that Friday night is a crazy busy night.
Yeah.
It just really is. And
yeah, that's where I went. That's where I went, Katherine. I'm new to this county, 6 years moving over here. And my husband, maybe when we were still dating, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, he took me to the fair. And that's where I met the Republicans. I think I met Mr. Culp that night, as I recall. We weren't family then. We weren't family yet. But I met him at the Republican booth, and it was probably a weekend night that we went. So, yeah, crazy busy. And I got to meet some politicians there. So you're right. So there seems to me like there was something going on there, and the Republicans should learn from the Democrats. Democrats are more committed, I think, to their agendas and their goals. And they really set an example for standing up for what they believe is right. So that's just a shame that you guys didn't get to work and that booth was empty. And somebody like me who's looking for answers and looking for people to talk to, you wouldn't be there, or the Republicans wouldn't be there. And I was new to this county looking for information.
Well, and just, you know me and receipts. Like, I want people to be able to make their judgments for themselves. So, Kate, I just sent you some things in Messenger to show the people, like, really how absurd this was. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is Nicole texting Kelly Hewer. That's Kelly Hewer's number up top. If anybody wants it, she's an official, so you can have it. So I don't want to hear anybody call me and tell me that, oh my gosh, Kelly's number was up there. So at 11:37 a.m., Nicole says, hello, Kelly, Katherine, and I are on the schedule today to volunteer. I checked my copy of the calendar and went to verify the schedule, and the link was deleted. I'm texting to see if we were removed, or are we still on your schedule today at the 4-H booth? Thanks, disgruntled Republican combat veteran Nicole, right? And so then this is the response. So that was 11:37. By 11:52, you mean to tell me that they had a meeting in less than 20 minutes and made a decision? I mean, I'm just floored with this. And so it's like, oh, 4-H GOP booth volunteers. In order to make for easier cleanup and give you all some time back to enjoy a beautiful weekend, the decision was made to close the booth early. Historically, Friday evenings are very slow at the fair since the animals are gone and things are winding down. Thank you to all of the volunteers who signed up to work the 4-H GOP booth. We appreciate your willingness to volunteer, Kelly Hewer. Oh, here's a news flash. We were scheduled to work with Rick Gardner that night. I went over Saturday, and Saturday there were plenty of animals over there still. I mean, I'm just like saying to myself, these people do realize, like, we're going to go out. So Nicole took the reins, and she went up Friday night. She said, this place is packed. Like, that doesn't surprise me.
Well, no, those would be the busiest nights.
Yeah. And so, and I'll tell you another thing, just like on Saturday when I went. So when I got there, it was mid-afternoon. It wasn't too crazy busy. The health department has their big blue bus out there, right? When I was leaving around 5 o'clock, well, they're already gone. Now, you would think with STDs, communicable diseases, COVID, vaccines, all those things, that they would be there in the evening on a Saturday night. There's a lot of people that need to be reached on a Saturday night at the fair.
Yeah, busiest night. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it doesn't match their little time scale, we're not going to go above and beyond. And so I'm just thinking to myself, this is crazy.
And I know
are paying crazy money.
I know you would be there. I know you personally, and I've heard your stories, how you take people after your hours. You're helping people after hours. So I know personally, Katherine, I'm standing up talking to the people who are on here tonight. And we might have some peepers that don't like
we'll have plenty.
But I'm here to tell you, Katherine goes the extra mile. So she's just not talking fluff here. She would really stand by her word. So.
Yeah, so this is unbelievable of what I'm watching happen in the county. So I just wanted to bring up to everybody, I was happy to work the Republican booth. Oh, and here's a news flash, Kelly. You could have been a professional. You could have called myself or Nicole. You could have said, thank you, but we're full. You could have done a lot of things, but instead, because you would rather, ruin your own party than bring them together, you just decided not to advertise at all for the people.
So, Katherine, how did you get an invitation? Because I think I'm an upstanding Republican voter in this county. How'd you get an invitation to volunteer? Because I would have volunteered.
Right. So people just saw it. There are still good people in precinct committeemen. There are, elected officials who watch this. And so they're like, Katherine, were you invited to this? Here's the other thing. So when I signed up for the women's club, because you had to sign up in order to speak at their women's club, which again, I think this is ludicrous, because these people go and then they do flyers and they support elected officials that they choose to support. So when I was talking to Chloe Pierce, or Agnos, or whatever name she wants to go by, I said, now, if I pay these dues, will I be getting the emails? Oh, yes, absolutely. You'll be getting all of it. Really? Okay. Well, when I made a post about the fact that I wasn't invited, that I wasn't getting these emails, suddenly within a couple hours, Chloe Pierce is putting out an email saying, hey, does anybody want to volunteer? Do you want to be here? Do you want to, what would you like to do? And so, that's what even makes this even, they just tell on themselves. Here I'm posting, and within a couple hours, you're sending out emails that you didn't have time to get to, but now suddenly you've got time to get to it. That's fine. It's the same thing with Kyle Pierce, and I'm over it. People saying that I'm bashing somebody or that I'm doing something. Here's the deal. I'm just calling it like it is. I listened to Kyle Pierce in 22 talk about, actually, I listened to him in 20. He just wants to be in here. He believes in term limits. He's only going to do a short time. He won't do more than 2 terms. I've got all this video of this, right? He'll be there for the people. I don't see Kyle Pierce at any of the county council meetings. I don't see Kyle Pierce at any of the commissioner meetings. We have an election board integrity issue. He is an attorney, and he's nowhere to be found. So I'm not on board. Yes, Kyle might be a nice guy, but he's supposed to be representing the people, and he should be out there. He is an attorney. He should be saying an Indiana code has been violated. But instead, he's nowhere to be found. And do I have a problem with that? I have a problem with that. And other people should have a problem with that too.
Yeah, I think I saw him at one town hall. I went to 5 out of 6, I think, town halls. I saw him at one.
And that's the only one he found time to show up to. I get it. He's busy. We're all busy. But this is a big deal, an election integrity, and not allowing Joswiak in there. And he's nowhere to be found. He should be up there speaking for the people.
Yeah, we need help.
Yeah, we need help. And that's the whole thing is we absolutely need help.
Mm-hmm. Have you talked to Joswiak since that all happened? Because it's going to August the 5th. We've got that meeting again. We got to find out what time that is, if it's 10 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock.
This is what always amazes me. As I'm watching you and Linda Smith go at it, and Linda Smith says to you, so you're questioning my integrity? I was like, I am. I'll question your integrity. I'll question how much you're working for the people, because she wants to sit there and say, well, I have to make sure the room is full or is free. And I have to, well, here, Linda, you see that door directly behind you within 5 feet? You can get up, walk through that door, ask them if the room is free, come back to the people and say, we'll be here at such and such time. This is when it's free. But she does nothing of the sort. And until Terry Austin pressured her enough to say, you got to choose a date for these people. So she finally gave a date of August 5th, but no time has been released. We're assuming it's going to be 10 o'clock, but knowing these cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and I'm going to say that, they'll change it just because they can. This has become a complete power, ego. I don't know what words. I've got some words, but this has gotten out of control. Now, this person, that was well said, Katherine, he should have said a code was violated, whether he's a good guy or not. And that's what I mean. Kyle should be speaking out about this.
He's a representative.
He is a state representative. And I'm even going to call Gaskell out.
I was going to say,
Senator Gaskell should be in there. Every one of our elected officials should be sitting in that room right now saying, I've got a problem with this. And it's a huge one.
Right. Right.
And the only elected official, if I'm racking my brain correctly, that showed up is Sheriff Beeman.
Yeah,
He's
he's
watching
there
the
every
process.
meeting.
Yes, he's watching the process. He's making it an effort to be in that room to listen to it.
Yeah. He said he needs a warrant. He says he needs a warrant to arrest Russ.
Yeah. I mean,
where's that going to come from?
Well, here's the thing. They need people to file that an Indiana code violation was done. You can do that. You can go to the prosecutor's office. You can call the sheriff's office and say, "How do I file that an Indiana code was violated?" And you can file. I mean, that's the whole thing is, oh, here's the thing. Cheryl McKinney brings up, who's the county attorney? Jeff Graham is the county attorney for like the commissioners and stuff. And then Ted Nolting does the county council once. But here's what's real interesting. The night that Joswiak showed up in the building, both county attorneys for each party was there. I don't know what their names are. Well, I'll have to find out. But the Democrat attorney was there and the Republican attorney was there. So here's a couple questions. One, Linda Smith was in that building. We, the people, elected Linda Smith. Mm-hmm. Why was Russ summoned to the front door? The clerk should have been. Did she delegate that power to him? If she delegated that power to him, well, then you are part of the problem too. Because he's acting on your behalf.
True.
So I'm not sure why he was at the door. Then Russ says he didn't know. Remember him saying, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we pay for these attorneys? Yeah. Are they our counsel? Why wouldn't you go ask them? Why wouldn't you say, hold a minute and let me go ask? Mm-hmm. I have no idea. And so this just becomes, and I'm going to say this, and if it's offended you, cover your ears. This is a complete circle jerk. I'm over it. I'm over people telling me I'm angry, I'm mad. Nope, I'm none of the sort. I'm disgusted.
It's bad. When I came to this county 6 years ago, I was told it was corrupt, but I had no idea. I had no idea.
The level of corruption.
Had no idea. And yeah, that meeting was interesting, to say the least. I am so grateful for Terry Austin. Never met her face to face. Well, actually, I was at the meeting of the public testing of the machine. But we didn't meet in person, but she was there. But I was so grateful because if somebody will just ask questions, like Bethany Keller, when it comes to council meetings, she asks questions. That's so important because the questions, when they get answered, the public who's there or hearing it on live stream can hear answers, and see input from the council if they will input. Most of them don't have input, but anyway, it's so good to ask questions. And Terry was great. And, and I looked at her eye to eye and I said, thank you for asking questions, because that's what allowed the public to have input, was her questions. And she allowed Joswiak to speak even more than he already did and expound a little bit more and bring more light to the situation. So I was really glad that she was sitting in for the other person. I can't remember his name there, who generally has that seat on the election board, the older gentleman.
It's the ex-Senator Lannon.
Tim
Lannon. And he's an attorney. And look at that. When I filed my violation in the primary that Todd Cole, didn't follow the rules by doing his initials and all those, Lanane said, she's right. He voted that Catherine's correct. A violation took place. And what did Russ and Linda do? They went against an attorney.
Now, what meeting was that? Because there was another attorney.
That was the one when we were talking about
the election challenge.
Yeah, the election challenge.
There was another attorney sitting on the floor.
That's the county attorney.
That's the county attorney.
That's the county attorney, which I'm going to say it is about as worthless as tits on a board. Because he wants to say, well, the intention was there. The check mark. Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, Don't tell me about the intention of the check marks. On his financials, he clearly put his initials, so he knows the difference. So I'm not buying it. So as we move into this, I know many of you have already seen the video. We talked about it last week, but we want to bring this back up because on August 5th, we're going to be doing this. So watch this video. I have no idea how they're going to get out of this. So, and Nicole made this video. She put a lot of work into it.
Bubble gum in a dish. How many bubble gums do you wish? Bubble gum in a dish. How many bubble gums do you wish?
I just wish some handcuffs.
Oh, I didn't see this one.
Yeah, so Nicole put this together, and I put this out this morning, and this kind of shows, you know, open door was violated. This just kind of tells the process of the open door. What Indiana Code was violated.
We have a complaint that was filed by Mr. Rob Joswiak. In a nutshell, it was about access to watching voter canvassing on primary night, and he was turned away at the front door. The statute that covers that is 312.4.6, and under section 6, subsection B, it says the canvassing must be performed in public. However, the board may restrict access to parts of the room where election material is being handled or transported to safeguard the material. And as an overview, for decades, media and public have been allowed in to the area in front of the treasurer's office to watch what goes on as the receiving teams come in, and as the receiving teams take the inspectors and judges who are bringing the ballots in, they make sure that they brought all the materials and the ballots and all the e-poll books and all the election materials that need to be returned. And then that stuff's moved to the room 108 where it's inventoried. And then for many, many years, the ballots then were taken across the hall and the machines tallied them. Last year, that equipment was moved to the second floor, and people were allowed to go up and watch that. We only had one person who did that. So there is access for the public to watch, but as the statute says, the board may restrict access to the parts of the room where the election material is being handled or transported. And one of the comments was that many people were seen in the building that evening, and those were the judges and the inspectors and the election board and the receiving team that they probably saw down the hallway moving those materials. So we will issue a full reply to Mr. Joswiak in a letter, but there is public access to watch the canvassing.
Yeah, I want to see if we got access to the vote now. Yeah, I'm a citizen. Okay, you're in violation of state law. We have right full public view of the election. And that way, we are the people, we're supposed to have full access. You have to have credentials before. No, I got credentials, I'm a citizen. Sorry about. I mean, I just want to see if you're in violation of state law. So he's not allowed to be in. Russ is kicking out right now. No, I mean, that's a violation of state law. Absolute violation of state law. You don't have to have credentials. The people should be allowed to see the tabulation. I need it. Yeah, that's funny at all. Yeah. I mean, what's in it? I'm just okay. I mean, I'm just for the future. I mean, we're curious if they were violating how they are. They're actually violating. I have no idea. No, I mean, I'll watch the rest of that now we know. Clear your third year.
I have a comment for you, and I don't know, Rob, if we've already discussed this or not, but I believe that you are aware that we have an observer badge, is what we call it, that is provided from our election room for the public. We have established protocol with that badge that a person who has been given that, typically on election day, can come in and they do have access to view the votes being tabulated. That I've been clerk for a year and almost 8 months. So last year's election, I know that we had an observer that had that badge, and that person was allowed to stand in the room to watch the canvassing of votes. So as far as us not having properly established a method for that to happen for the public, I can tell you, yes, we do have a method, and we were prepared on election day for this past primary to do it again. So I'm not sure where all the wires got crossed, but the protocol had been established. And yes, you should have been given access to be able to establish. And yes, you should have been given access to be able to establish. And yes, you should have been given access to be able to see that.
Right, and I wasn't given access. So, for the sake of election integrity, as a member of the public, I should have been given one of those badges, and I should have been allowed to witness. And that was restricted, and it's a violation of law. It is a level 6 felony, and it should be referred to the prosecutor's office, and it should be referred to the attorney general. Thank you.
The only other thing that I would have to add, in order to have any sense of protocol, it is our responsibility to know who's in the building, okay? We wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't know everyone was accounted for. And that's why even when Mary Rutherford was here, she made sure that me, the clerk, had a yellow colored badge. We may have to change the color now. Had a yellow colored badge. It was color coded so that anyone would know when you encountered someone in a hallway, if they had proper credentials, that's what we called them, to be in the building. So.
Can I offer a comment though?
Sure.
There's a big difference between the public being required to get an observer badge prior to the election canvassing taking place and making it available when somebody shows up at the door and says, I'm here under Indiana Code 31246. I would like to watch the canvassing of ballots. At that point, you have a stack of observer badges ready and you hand them out. And you can designate an area where people need to be, but don't clap. God. There's an area that people need to be, and I will fight to the death to protect the access of a limited number of people in the room because that's where the ballots are. But giving people a chance to watch is one, it's our responsibility under the law, not prior to authorization. That's inside baseball.
And if I indicated it was prior authorization, then I don't believe that I said that. So I did not say that.
No, you didn't say that.
Okay.
It can be interpreted that you have to get a badge before you're eligible to be an observer.
As they come in,
yes.
As they come in, they are given an area to where they can line up, and that badge is passed out, and those people are taken through exactly the way they're supposed to be.
I think they should have to show an ID.
Probably show an ID. job at that. And I've already apologized to you, Rob, personally, that happened to you. And we're going to make sure that we have a better system in place so it doesn't happen to anybody else. Okay.
We want things to improve, and this is all about election integrity. And I mean, there was no reason to restrict my access that night. I mean, there's really no reason. I mean, I'm not a criminal. I'm not somebody that's deranged. I mean, Russ, you knew who I was. I mean, why didn't you give me a badge? Why did you restrict my access?
Frankly, I was not aware of this badge system to be issued at the front door. It'd always been back here in this other area. I was not aware of that change.
Well, you've been up here for a
How
long
can you get to
time.
that
Again, it
area
was a
without a
change.
badge?
How long has the change been going on? I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, I was restricted that night. It's a violation of the law. I mean, it's a level 6 felony. I mean, I've provided you with all the proof, and, we've had plenty of time to make sure that we have election integrity, and there's a lot of people that are concerned, and for a lot of reasons. And this just happens to be something that can be proven. You were in violation, you restricted access, and I'm part of the public. And that's why I'm here today. Thank you.
Bubble gum in a dish.
How many handcuffs do you wish?
That was good. That was good. Nicole's good.
Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing. If anybody was listening to that first part, Russ says we are going to issue a letter. Well,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Who's we? Time out. Who did you meet with, Russ? Because you've met. And if you've met with Linda and you, that's quorum because there's 2 of you. There's only 3 members. So there's lots of red flags. And then I just don't understand how, Russ, you decided that you were going to issue a letter when you weren't aware of the badge system. So you didn't do a full investigation and you're issuing a letter because you said you didn't know what the badge system was. So I'm not confused. I'm just like, are you people believing the crap you're selling? Because I'm not believing one bit of it. I don't know how they're going to get out of this. I'm sure they're going to try to figure out something. But I will tell you, Linda Smith and Heather Bailey, if you're watching tonight, if Russ walks on this, they will be just as guilty as Russ. Because this will be colluding. This will be skullduggery. This will be why Heather Bailey had all those overtime hours and nobody else did. Because you're starting to show us you got one person with how much overtime? One person. You're keeping people from observing. You're threatening Miss Crooms to take down video. You guys are obviously hiding something, and I'm going to call it like it is. I'm going to compare it to medicine. When people will not pee in a cup for me for a drug test, I'm telling you, there's a problem. So, I mean, who's going to refuse to pee in a cup for a drug test if you're clean?
I have a big question for you. Why is Russ sitting in the middle of those 2 women? Why isn't Linda in the middle?
She's not the president.
Oh, he's the president.
He's the president. So I got a question for you. Why is he even on that podium when it's against him?
Yeah, that's what everybody's asking. Because there was supposed to be a vote. And how can he vote if he's the one in jeopardy or he's got the problem? He's got the violation.
Well, here's the 4th one. Just like this was just said. Here's the 4th one. The 4th one says he wouldn't even let watchers in the polls. What are you hiding?
Is this just a power trip or is he hiding something?
Oh, we know he's hiding. Come on now. I would lay plenty of money down on this. And people are like, well, why don't you file some? If you think that something's going on, you need to get an attorney, you need to file. Okay, anybody who knows me knows that when the timing is right, I will move.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting till this grave is so deep that I come in and I go, okay, now I'll do. I mean, let's make this a slam dunk. I don't want to go and pay all this money if I would have just waited a little bit longer, I could have gotten, no. I mean, I don't know how you're going to argue with this video. Whoever sent Russ or allowed Russ to run that door, Clerk Linda Smith, if I were you, I'd be telling people I had no idea Russ was up there making rules.
I wish I was a fly on the wall in some of those rooms when Russ and Linda are together. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I wish I was a fly on the wall and could figure this out.
And Teresa knows a lot of great things too, who comes on here and she speaks. She's been around these politics for a long time. And what she said is, you don't need to strap on boots. You need to get yourself some wastewater waders, because that's how deep it is. You know, I mean, this is just the crazy thing. Rob Steele was allowed in. Now, here's the thing. I sent Kate a video, and this one's 9 seconds. If Russ had nothing to hide, why did he do this? And so if Kate plays that, that's my whole thing is right there. He's guilty. If we played it in front of a judge, the man is guilty.
He is. He's guilty. Josh proved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just craziness.
Proved it. He did a great job. He proved it. And there was quite a few people there from the public.
You'll have to turn it up on this one. Might have to play twice.
Voting system.
Let's give a
Voting system.
let's give a
Voting system.
So he is asking for a life vest. He is drowning.
Yeah.
And he looks to Linda, the clerk, and says, we got to stop this.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never seen such a whip pup in my life. After Joswiak was done, Russ melted like an ice cube. He just sat there and melted like an ice cube in a hot room. I've never seen his demeanor like that. It was incredible. It was incredible. With Terry and Linda both admitting that there was a violation. Both of them admitted it. And he just sat there. So I don't know where this goes, because I'm not that familiar with what Joswiak's going to do. He said it needs to go to a prosecutor. You know, they need to take a vote. So I'm not sure where all of this goes. I want to speak to Joswiak personally and find out, you know, is he pursuing this, or are we waiting for the August 5th meeting for them to make a judgment on this? Is that what we're waiting on? I'm going.
Yeah. So
God willing, I'm going.
Yeah, I think we're waiting for the August 5th meeting. I don't know what Joswiak's waiting for. If it were me, I would be waiting for the August 5th meeting to see, because in my eyes, if Linda allows Russ to stay on that panel when this is against him, there's a huge problem that somebody needs to, because it's going to be all on video. Nobody in their right mind is going to say the clerk was right for leaving Russ in that seat. Nobody. So that's going to be a problem. If Linda votes to save Russ, well, now you're a liar, because you just said in the video that he should have been allowed in. And I'm really sick and tired of listening to Linda and Russ tell me about 2023, because we're in 2024. Okay. In 2023, Russ, you signed off on Marquest Higgins. In 2024, you didn't. So if you want to reference back a year, then maybe you need to make good on the stuff you were doing in 23, like signing off on Marquest, and make that good for 24, but you didn't. In 24, you challenged Marquest because he was running against your boy, Rick Gardner. So you talk out of both sides of your mouth, and it's complete crap that comes out of it. I've never seen somebody with more diarrhea of the mouth than Russ Willis.
And power tripping, just power tripping. Unbelievable.
And Linda's right there behind him. She's the clerk, and she's holding no one accountable.
Who
And
was the clerk before her?
it was Olivia Pratt, and Olivia Pratt did the same thing. She allowed the same behavior. She blames Kelly Gaskell and those guys for the long election lines in 20. Here's the deal. You're the clerk. The buck stops with you.
Yeah.
I don't care
Yes.
who you want to blame. I don't care who you want to say this person had my. The bottom line is those lines, and you're the clerk, that's on your shoulders.
Yeah, it stops with her here too. No matter what Russ did, he's claiming ignorance, but it still stops with her. In my opinion, in her position, it stops with her.
And she should have been able to run interference so quick by 6:30 in the morning when she saw those lines like that, and she should have done something that would have turned those polls around and gotten people in and out of there, whether she turned to paper ballots, but she waited too long. You know why? Because she's not qualified for the job. Now, I don't, and here's the thing. Some are like, well, we can save Olivia. She'll come to our side. She'll be with us. There is nothing that Olivia Pratt has shown me yet that says she's going to be for the people. I have not seen it. I can't imagine I'm going to see it. And I will tell you this, you'll see the true Olivia Pratt, because if her swamp is removed and she jumps on the wagon of the new team, it just shows she can be bought and sold. I think Olivia Pratt is a very nice person. I think she's very naive. And I think Olivia Pratt has had some very horrible mentors.
I don't know her. A lot of people are making suggestions here. One is going to the AG. Now, I appreciate our AG. I follow his newsletter. You know, he was, he helped us with the Bingham Square. Is that what it's called? The apartments here. Yep. He got on board with that. And someone in the chat suggested going to him with this. So again, I don't know the ropes how to do that, but I really believe he would get behind us if he had the evidence. Our AG would, if we could get to him. I don't believe in the SOS, Secretary of State. I don't believe that's who ultimately the buck stops there with all election integrity in the state of Indiana. But the AG might be able to help us, because I really believe he would have a heart for us, like he did with the Bingham apartment. So if anyone knows how to get this up to the AG, we need to try. If Joswiak's not
right, so you can go to the AG's website and you can file complaints. I did file on this.
Okay.
I have filed with the AG's office on this.
Good.
I haven't heard anything back. I did that last week. So I have already submitted the footage, documents. I've done all of that.
Awesome.
So, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. There's going to have to be a large volume of Madison County voters who also send the information in. It's going to take more than just one person. And my understanding is if you as a voter feel that Indiana code has been violated and you're willing to say, and then, like in an affidavit, hey, it's been violated. I feel our rights are violated. You can do that. You walk into the prosecutor's office, you can submit it there. You can get online and submit with the Attorney General's office. And I'm going to put those links up after the August 5th meeting. So that people can apply themselves and say, hey, we got a problem here. Maybe if they're flooded with enough, people will do it.
We need to do that. And you're good at putting links up and everything and helping us find our way there. That's what a lot of people need. I need that.
The other thing I've done is, and I would encourage other people, when you watch the news, get the name of those reporters who are in the morning, Angela Gannot, those kind of people, and forward these videos to Fox 59, to Channel 8, to those news reporters. Flood them. If they've got 100 people sending in the same video, they're going to be like, okay, we've got a problem out in Madison County, and it's a big one, because look at all these different people who are sending this information.
You got on a news channel. How'd you do that with the coroners?
I got on several. I've been on several,
Yeah.
but Richard Essex always followed me. He was a big supporter of truth and justice, but he has since retired, and that's kind of the loss there. But he was always a big advocate of truth and justice and transparency, and we just have to hope that we've got another reporter somewhere out there who one of us can align with, that will help us. There's several reporters on these that are from Madison County. So if people are taking the time to just look through, send those over to the news channels, it may help us with our cause too.
Somebody's saying they have an open case with the AG right now. This GWW. Somebody says they have an open case with the AG right now. It does take a lot of people complaining. You just have to know how to get the emails, and I am on a newsletter of his. So, but he already has been active in Madison County recently with this Bingham apartment deal. So while he's got us on his mind, let's get busy and let's send him letters and say, hey, this happened. So I'm hoping Joswiak has done. I'm pretty sure he has. Surely he has. He spent a lot of time putting that case together. He did an excellent job representing himself.
And maybe, just maybe, he's waiting to see the outcome. Can these people do the right thing, or will they force the hands of the people to go bigger than them? Will it become what Ms. Kroom said, federal oversight? I mean, I would file this with the FBI. I would not stop. This was a federal election because we had presidencies going on. So I would go even higher. I mean, I would do that.
It needs to go to the nth degree because this is happening in other counties. It's not just our county.
Right.
So
and there's another case of this in one of the other counties in Indiana who violated this, and they went with the people. This was so I think that this will be an interesting process to see roll out on August 5th. Of course, I will be there to put this all on display for everybody to see.
And you have to sacrifice time with your clients, your patients.
Yep. I mean,
I want to
there's a lot of money at stake when I leave my practice.
Well, sure. And people upset. People are upset because you're not there. I mean, I understand that.
And then on that same token, I've got to listen to people on Facebook say to me, well, you're not doing enough. You've lost 2 elections. Well, here's a newsflash. I've only run 1 election, number 1. Number 2, when people say that I lost in 2022, I knew what the rules were. I knew that you had to have 2 Republican votes in order to run. I had to prove my case. 1, Russ refused to sign off on me, but he signed off on 9 other candidates.
Mm-hmm.
1 of the candidates had voted Democrat for the past 40 years, never had voted Republican. He signed off on him.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, over half of those people were Democrats that he signed off on.
Yeah.
2, I had to show that he would challenge me. I had to show it. I mean, and then here's the big thing. So in 23, what's he do? Tiffany Harless, who's our city councilwoman over in Anderson.
Oh,
she voted Democrat. She didn't have 2 Republican votes. He signed off on her.
Crazy.
But you didn't sign off on me in 2022. This is the arrogance of Russ Willis.
I know. It's the power.
It is.
It is the power he has. Yes. Yep. Power comes with arrogance, or arrogance comes with power. Maybe we'll put it that way.
Yeah. Mark West Higgins is another one. So Mark West can show that when he lived in another state, he always voted Republican. He only had 1 Republican vote here, but yet Russ wouldn't sign off on him.
No, and he was upstanding the year before. Yeah. In Russ's own words, I was there, and
Russ even donated to his campaign.
And this year he wasn't upstanding enough or something. I don't know what happened there, but so Mark West is going to run independent or
libertarian.
Yeah,
libertarian. So that'll be a 3-way race. Ollie Dixon, Rick Gardner, and Marquez. But I mean, I'm going to tell you guys, unless we see a huge movement in Madison County, I know those Republicans are going to win. I said that in the primary. I mean, I just know it is. I mean, it is what it is. And we will be there to expose all the corruption, is all I can say.
That's our job. That's our job. I have no agenda to get any seat anywhere.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have an agenda to motivate others. And, I'm new to this, but I met you at a tea party 2.5 or so years ago because I wanted to find out who the local politicians were and what was going on. I met you there. You were live streaming. I mean, girl, you work all day long and then you come to a tea party meeting with 15 people there to live stream. Kudos to you. And then like you taking off time from your practice to live stream these meetings. I just, I admire you for that, the sacrifice that you put in. And I detest the people that come at you all the time and think you have a personal agenda to get some big office. To be the auditor at Madison County is not something that is a big office or would put a crown on your head, so in my opinion,
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just doing it because it's the right thing to do. That's the only reason why I'm doing any of this. And I'm not really getting in the middle of anything else.
What's that gonna do for you personally, just because you're called the auditor of Madison County? That's just, I don't see that as you desiring just to have to run around and say, I'm the auditor of Madison County. Isn't something you're trying to achieve?
Well,
Yeah.
It's definitely not for the money. I'm guessing she probably does a little better as
No.
medical practice than she'd be making in the auditor's office.
What people don't understand is I lose money. I lose money in many ways, right? But I gain as a person in many ways. So it's a trade-off when I run. I do want people to know that when I run on my campaign trail, I usually pick up a couple hundred patients because people are meeting me at the polls. They're like, hey, I want to get, okay. So that happens too.
That's a real good point.
Yeah. So it's a trade-off, but I want to show a couple pictures and then we're going to talk about dispatch, the nightmare in dispatch, which I really need to get back to. So look at these pictures of Russ making a comment about the badge system. And so Kate's got those. I don't care which picture you put up first.
I like what Teresa's saying there. You need to have your own political spotlight for Madison County.
I don't know if anybody would tune in, but
yeah, they would.
I might. We might see what Chris thinks. This picture here. This picture is Russ Willis's wife. Do you see her signing in? Do you see her with a badge? I don't.
No, not at all. No badge.
So this is the same night Josiak had a problem. So the next thing, what's the next picture? Do you know who these two people are standing over here to the side? That's Russ Willis's wife. Again, do you see a badge?
No badge. What color were they?
They were yellow. Nick, and look at Linda Smith. She's so worried about those yellow badges. Linda, this isn't nail polish. Like, we've got to change it to match our outfit. Nobody cares that you have a yellow badge. Nobody's trying to get into this is Madison County. Nobody's trying to get in your, I don't even want to begin with that.
What room is this?
This is the main floor right there where that blue sign is. If you went right, that's to that county, but the room we go to, the commissioner's room. Okay.
Oh, okay.
But you see who Russ's wife is engaging with? Does anybody know who that is?
No, I don't.
That is Democrat Judge Kyle Noon. Now, shouldn't he be saying, this woman doesn't have a badge? She's got to have a badge. I got to get her a badge. No, he's not. He's talking to her like this is normal everyday business.
No badges. If somebody's walking through there with a blue cart, pulling a blue something, luggage or something there.
Yeah, this is a teenage volunteer.
Oh, was this year?
Yeah, not escorted by anybody. Just have some ballots and knock yourself out.
Yeah, that's ballots in that box.
I thought you had to be escorted with somebody.
That's what I thought.
I mean, you're just
Yeah.
letting a teen
Yeah.
kid walk around?
Wonder who escorted the flash drives from all of the polling places.
That's what I'm saying. We've got a serious issue. The pictures show for themselves. There's no security on those. Ah, wait a minute here. Who is this? Our own county councilman, Rob Steele.
Oh, yeah. No badge.
No badge.
Imagine that. No lanyard, no badge. Well, they've been in it so long, everybody knows them. So
listen, Rob Joswiak has been in this so long. They all know him. It's like Cheers up there.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody's names.
Yeah.
So those are some things that I just want to point out to people. Russ had a badge on. So Russ knew what the rules were.
Oh, he did? I didn't see it.
Yeah,
did you
Russ
show it?
Nicole, if Nicole sends me a picture, I'll send you.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Russ has got a badge on. Yeah, Linda's got a badge on. But you know who didn't have a badge on? Heather Bailey didn't have a badge on.
Well, everybody knows her too.
Well, but it doesn't matter. I mean, badges are badges. And here's the thing. If you're letting people from the outside in, they may not know who those officials are. So they should all have badges on. They should all have name tags. And, you know, for Linda Smith to say it's her responsibility to know everybody that's in the building. No, it's not. That's a county building. And this is what I don't understand. Why they keep having all of us sign in that election board. People come in and out of that building all day long. We're not signing in and out of that building. So her responsibility, I'm going to tell you what your responsibility is, Linda Smith. Your responsibility is to know who's manning the door, turning people away, and violating Indiana code. You have failed miserably at that. That's what your job is.
That should be a priority.
If you're concerned about what's going on at the front door, what Indiana code was, instead of the color of people's badges, we might have some election integrity in this place. That's what your responsibility is.
Well, they should have told the sheriff. I did talk to Sheriff Beeman about that, about doesn't your sheriff know that standing at the door there, doesn't he know the codes and stuff? He says that's not his job. He's just to do security. Well, maybe on election night, maybe that sheriff should know who's coming and going.
Yeah. And it would be real interesting because honestly, if this is the game they're going to play, if I was the sheriff, I wouldn't have staff at the door anymore. You are not going to put my men in the middle of your garbage. You're not doing it. Because that makes us look like we're not willing to uphold the law. And that's not what the sheriffs are trying to do. They're just trying to do their job, make sure there's safety. But you know what? Linda Smith, the clerk, and Russ Willis, the Republican chair, are putting these sheriffs in danger. What if Joswiak, was some lunatic? He knows what Indiana code is, and then he goes ballistic. I mean, Russ is out of control. That's who the problem is. He's even putting our own sheriffs at danger.
I think he just likes to state things, to keep people under his thumb, to keep them, I don't know, there's a term for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it has to do with arrogance and power tripping. So whether he's right or he's wrong, he likes to be able to tell people what to do. I think I feel that from him. He just really, really likes to tell people what to do. And I'm concerned that he might tell Linda Smith what to do more than what we know.
Oh, you can see that.
Yeah.
You it's the same with Olivia Pratt. They're not running that election room. Russ Willis
I don't know about her, but I can tell you by what I've seen, when Linda Smith is around Russ Willis, he's the one that's controlling everything, and her included. I feel
he did that with Olivia Pratt
for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So do you say that Linda Smith can get rid of him by how? How can she get rid of him, Russ Willis?
Linda Smith can say he's not going to be in here. He's got an election problem. Linda Smith can say, you know what? You want to be in here? Fine. You're treated just like everybody else. Go sit in that corner. I mean, Linda has power.
Yeah, she might think right now she needs to use it with this level 6 felony against him. If she's
going to be in the same boat.
Yeah, she might be. She might need to think through all this, and she needs to get a voice. She needs to come up against Russ Willis.
Yeah.
I don't know who has. I've not been around here long enough. Has anyone ever confronted what Russ Willis, except this Joswiak that we saw? Does anyone know of the history?
No. And that's what a lot of people have said to me. They're like, you're the only person who is willing to stand up to Russ Willis.
Well, yeah,
I'm not the only one. Look at Rob Joswiak. Look how long he's been at this. I mean, there's a lot of them. Sheriff Beeman has stood up to him. You know, I mean, Lisa Rinker has stood up to him. There's a lot of, I'm just a lot more vocal, you know, that's the only difference. I'm just shaking the bushes a little bit harder, but they are all doing their part. They just have a different style of doing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, every style is a little bit different. Megan Green, now that's one. She has stood her ground with Russ Willis.
Yeah.
She has put him in his place. Absolutely.
Let's hear her story. What's her story?
Oh, you should see her story. I mean, she has stood her ground with him.
Well, yay for you,
one of the
Megan.
election hearings. I'll have to see if I can pull that tape.
Yay for her.
Yeah, her mother was done wrong, and she stood her ground.
Teresa says she's had many battles.
Yeah. I mean, these people, and here's the thing, if you go against Russ, he punishes you. I mean, and that's what he does. Well, Russ, I'm not sure, and maybe that's why I won't go away, because there's nothing he's going to punish me for. Tim Milliken, he took him to task.
I'm still standing up to him, he says.
And he's still standing up to him. I mean, Tim's another one. You know,
he looks like he's a big dude. Tim looks like he's a big, tall guy, and Russ is.
And there was violations that took place down in Ingalls. And guess who was behind all that crap? A Gardner's son. Was it Justin Gardner, I think is his name? I mean, it keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going and it never stops. It's going to take quite a few of us before it does. But this one's a doozy. I mean, these guys have video and all. This one's off the chain.
Yeah, we can't, America and Madison County being local, we can't have our freedoms if our elections does not have integrity. Right. If these people do not have integrity, then we don't have a country and we don't have a county, either one. Just take your pick, county or country, doesn't matter, because the counties affects the country. So the counties elect the presidents and the governors and the AGs, the counties do that. So if there's no integrity at this local level with people like Russ Willis, there's no hope for our nation. So It starts here. People have got to, like myself, I was guilty. I spent too much time in my garden or playing with my horses or whatever I was doing. Raising kids is what I was doing. And I didn't pay attention because I trusted people like Russ Willis to do the right thing. That day is over. That day is over, people. I don't know how many people are out there listening, but that day is over. Pick your skill, pick your talent, use your voice, use what you can, and do what you can to unseat these people, because we have to have election integrity or we're not going to have a free country for our grandchildren and our children. So we have got to do something. I'm doing my little part. Catherine's, to me, is doing a huge part. But I'm doing my little part, and we have got to motivate these people and motivate other people. Obviously, you guys are sharing your time with us tonight, and we're forever grateful about that you're listening to us. But think of what you can do at your level and get out there and just support Katherine, help her out, encourage her. She needs some.
Well, I want to show you how blatantly just how they will not follow Indiana code for nothing. So Kate, I just sent you a video. It's a short clip of me in front of the election board challenging the violation of Indiana code, filling out forms. I know some of you have seen this before, but I want to show Linda Smith's arrogance.
Yeah, and political.
That's why it won't surprise me if she votes in favor of Russ.
Look at this statement here. It doesn't matter what party you associate with. We need to stand up to corruption, whatever it is. Yep. This is not a party matter right now. Not at all. Not at all.
Because Democrats are getting screwed, Libertarians are getting screwed, and Republicans are getting screwed.
No, we the people are getting screwed, Katherine. Yeah. We the people are getting screwed.
Yeah. Listen to this one that Nicole put together.
Todd Culp failed to follow and complete the process. A completed Can 2 form was due February 9th of 2024 by noon. It is the candidate's responsibility to make sure the form is completed in its entirety. According to Indiana Code 3-8-2-7, Section 7, subsection D, a statement of the candidate must separately initial each of the statements required by the subdivision. Mr. Culp has failed to initial every item under the candidate certification number 7 through 13 on the CAN2 form. This fails to meet the requirements of Code 3-8-2-7, Section 7, subsection. A statement that the candidate acknowledges each item with his or her initials. A simple marking of any kind does not qualify as a fulfilled requirement. Therefore, his candidacy form is incomplete, hence leaving him ineligible to run as candidate in Madison County. In conclusion, he should be disqualified from the ballot.
So I would make a motion that we deny the challenge.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Thank you,
The
Tim.
motion is carried to deny the challenge.
State law. The county election board
So that
must,
pretty much shows you right there that the ex-senator, who's an attorney, he's like, no, nay, I'm not in agreement. But do you see how Linda and Russ are working together?
Yeah, I
Linda
do.
is just as dishonest. And and I'm going to say this to you, when you stood up there and she says, "Are you questioning my integrity?" You should have said, "Hell yes, I am."
I haven't learned to cuss yet, Catherine.
Well, I don't think that hell's a bad word, right? We go to heaven, we go to hell. It's the same thing. But this one, yeah, I do believe, she has no election integrity. There's no other way to say it. She right there, when she did that to me, I'm like, this woman has zero ethics, zero morals, and zero integrity. For me, she's at minus numbers at this point.
You know, there's extortion and there's blackmail on people, you know?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't know why she's under Russ Willis's power. I do not know that. I do not understand that. I wonder, I'm a certain percentage on she's under Russ Willis's power or she's acting alone, but more of it's whoever's with Russ Willis is under his power for some reason. And I don't know what power he holds.
Has anybody pulled her campaign finance paperwork from when she ran for office?
I haven't. I don't know.
I
Catherine.
haven't. No, I haven't. We'd have to go back and look a lot. It's a little bit deeper than that, Kate.
Oh, no, but it might be a good starting place.
Listen, if it's not money, what else is it?
There's
You tell
three
me.
chicks on here.
If it's not money, there has to be another hole, literally.
I just, ladies, I don't know. I'm new to this.
Foot.
I'm new to this.
So,
I am new to this.
Those
Well,
are,
like I said, blackmail. I use that blackmail term.
yeah, this is like the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen, I've heard about corruption, but I've never seen it quite like this. This is my last point about this, and then we're going to go on to the dispatch center.
Well,
When I was in that meeting, by law, you're supposed to be given 48 hours of notification before this happened. I point blank said to Russ, you already violated by having this hearing because you didn't give the people 48 hours. So I have an email that was given to Rob regarding this this hearing, and my understanding is this email came out on Thursday. So if you show this email I just sent to you, Kate, it appears on this one that it was at 2:09 p.m. that Rob was notified on Thursday. By having that meeting on Monday, because you can't count Saturday or Sunday, by having that meeting on Monday, they were lower than the 48-hour mark. And Russ sat there and said, no, we told him at 8 a.m. No, you didn't, Russ. So, and that's the thing. Good afternoon. It's 2:09. So they can't say they sent it out on Wednesday because Russ is like, no, we notified on Thursday at 8 a.m. No, you didn't. You notified at 2:09 on Thursday. This is how ridiculous these people are. And this is your deputy director of elections. She's allowing this behavior. She should be refusing to send that out. She should say, I'm not part of this garbage. But it's not garbage, people. These are calculated, deceitful moves being made intentionally by Russ Willis. And the fact that nobody in that election room can stand up and say, I am not doing this, shame on you.
Yeah, and I go with we the people. Why haven't we held them accountable?
I agree with you.
Why wasn't I holding them accountable in my county over in Ohio, Warren County? Why wasn't I holding them accountable? Why wasn't I going to the meetings? I pulled my kids out of the schools from some shenanigans, that word that I use, was going on in the schools. So I pulled them out. But why didn't I go back in and become a board member? So the same shenanigans wouldn't happen to other people and other children. So, you know, we can try and we just do our own thing, get out on our boat, whatever. Catherine, I know you work hard. You don't get out on your boat a lot. Whatever we do for fun and pleasure. And we think, oh, well, we're just going to trust them to take care of it. They have not. They have proven to us they have not. So elections have been rigged since 1996, from my research, when Jeb Bush decided, you know, things got to change and he lost or whatever. But it started with Jeb Bush. They've been.
Well, and just like Karen O just said, what good are the rules if we're not going to follow them?
Right.
Here's the thing. You know, my mom taught me right from wrong. If I'm going to go work somewhere and somebody's not doing the right thing, I'm not going to turn a blind eye to it. My paycheck is never going to matter that much that I'm doing the wrong thing.
Good for you. You're just one in a million that are like that, though, you see.
And I like Heather. I think Heather does try. But shame on Heather for condoning any bit of this behavior.
What's the consequence of her standing up? What is the consequence?
She would be
Linda
fired.
Smith or Linda Smith.
Well, see, Linda can't be fired. That's what I don't understand. She's an elected official.
But what does Russ Willis have on her? You got to ask those questions. Does he have something on her? If she's acquiescing to everything that he says? I'm just asking questions. I don't know, girl, because I haven't been around that long.
I mean, I can only think of one thing, and because I don't have proof of it, I'm not saying it. So I know there might be some of you that have been around long enough that do know. Jamie Lynn might be one who knows, but because I don't have any proof, I'm not saying anything about it.
Somebody says Heather doesn't know any better. And I think, you know, that's what I would
she needs to go look at the rules. If you want to have the title of director, then you need to make sure you've read all the rules. You need to know what the meeting minutes say. You need to know what the rules are. Those are that you need to do that.
Yeah, you know, and I'm going to switch this off to Christy Grabowski, who just won a seat on the county council. She has gone for 2 or 3 years to all the meetings to learn the ropes. You know, that girl is learning, and that's what these people need to have done instead of just run for an office and not have any experience or understand what it's about. So, but there's no accountability. And finally, Catherine, you're standing up and trying to get some accountability here, and the pushback is unbelievable.
Yeah, and maybe in some respect, Heather needs to be a good judge of character, right? And clearly, who you're working for, Linda Smith, yeah, poor judge of character right there, because all she keeps saying is, I'm new at this. No, you're not. Linda, you've been around for a long, long time. I get a lot of people like Linda Smith. I get that. But there is a difference between liking somebody and somebody who has some integrity to do the right thing. It's a big difference. So, you know, Heather can be mad at me. Linda can be mad at me. All you people can be mad at me. But me asking you to do the right thing, that's why you're angry with me. That makes no sense at all to me. Yeah, it's not hard to do the right thing. It's a lot more work to do the wrong thing. It is. It's a lot more work to remember your lies.
I couldn't sleep at night if I was doing the wrong
That's what I do. I think about these, but I'm like, how do you people even sleep at night?
I don't know how they sleep at night, other than they lay on their beds and think up other things to do. I don't know. I don't get it. But, you know, my biggest thing is we, the people, have got to stand up at a local level. That's where it starts. Somebody said these politicians cut their teeth at the local level. And that's probably true. They started at the local level and they've worked themselves up to Congress or rep, wherever they are now.
I'm going to say it about Kyle Pierce. After what Kyle Pierce has shown us, and I know he's vying for a much higher position, you people need to think twice. I think Kyle is a nice guy, right? But Kyle has shown me that he has no backbone. Okay, there's more to kissing babies and shaking hands. If you want to do things for the people, then get out there and be their spokesperson. He has the degrees, he's got the titles, he is in an elected position, and he is nowhere.
And what about Mr. Gaskell? Now, I have seen him at the Tea Party meetings.
I agree too. I don't know why Gaskell's not sitting up there with that Indiana code saying this is a problem.
What happens to them when they get in, when they get their seat? What happens to them? They
I don't know.
turn into mushy, mushmouth people.
Yeah. I mean, I like Gaskell too, but where are you? The people need you. The people literally need you at this time.
They're our voice. These people are our voice in that position.
Right.
And they're just not. It doesn't seem like they are. From what I'm seeing, it doesn't seem like they are.
I am going to say about Kelly Gaskell. I know there's a lot of people who don't like Kelly Gaskell, but I am going to say this. In 2021, when we took the coroner seat, Kelly Gaskell became a strong advocate for the coroner's office. She pushed back when nobody else would. And I appreciate Kelly. Kelly has shown me that she is an outstanding person. Now, I know there's people who want to argue that with me. That is your problem. Mine is that she has done things many times for the coroner's office. She put herself out there to help the coroner's office. And I applaud Kelly Gaskell for doing that. And I have respect for Kelly for doing that. And like someone says to me many times over, your enemy doesn't have to be my enemy. And that's fine. But I am going to give kudos where kudos are at. I mean, that's just the thing. She did try everything to help us in the coroner's office. And I appreciate her and I am grateful for her and I'm thankful. Yeah. So I don't know where any of these higher ups are that are in these elected positions. I don't know where Rodney Cummings is. I have no idea where he's at. Why isn't he sitting down there during this election meeting? Where's Andrew Hanna at? Why isn't he sitting down there in this election meeting?
The other thing is, Catherine, I mentioned this to you maybe privately about the voter rolls being cleaned out. Somebody needs to find out. There's only one more week, August the 7th. It's the last day that those voter rolls can be cleaned out. And that is probably, well, one of the most important issues is because you can take a ballot, an empty ballot, and you can fill in a dead person's name and forge the signature, and you've got a vote right there. You can fill it out for who you want, and you got to vote. So voter rolls.
What was that in the primary? Somebody had shown up to vote and they had her marked as dead.
Yeah, that was my poll. That was my polling station this year. Yeah, she came out and told me that. She said she went in there to vote and they said, well, you're dead. Yeah, you're dead. And then another person went in to vote and her husband had died and he was still in the voter rolls. She went in and because they pulled his name out. And she said, well, he died, and she told them, she said, well, he died X amount of whatever, days, years, whatever ago. And, oh, I'm so sorry. They were sorry for that, but they pulled his dead name out of there. And here she was there to vote. So my polling station, that was, where was I? Florida Station. I was at Florida Station. So the voter rolls have not been cleaned out to my knowledge. I don't know for how long, but do you realize if somebody wants to, and I believe they have, take empty ballots and put people's names on there. All you would have to do is form a team, 3 people get together, get these ballots, go out and go to the doors, knock on the doors where those people were supposed to be alive and voting. Right. And if they're not there anymore and they died, then you know that somebody has filled out ballots of dead people. So,
and like Jamie just said, this has been going on for years.
Yes.
She watched all of this between her ex-husband, Steve Sumner, and Russ Willis. She knows a lot of the information that's been going on there. Here, I worked with her as the office manager of the prosecutor's office for 20 years ago.
Who'd she work
That's
with?
Linda Smith. Linda Smith has been
Oh,
in place for a long, long, long time.
see, that's news to me. I don't know that. So yeah,
Oh no,
has
she
a
started
history.
out in the prosecutor's office.
So she has a history with.
Tim, he's gone to Cummings. Nothing. I mean, this is just like a huge nightmare. Kate, I don't know if you have that. I sent you that post of Steve Sumner.
Well, so that's why I jumped on board in 2022 before I knew any of you guys, and just kept saying, "Where's Sumner? Where's Sumner?" Because my husband worked with him back in the day, and I'm like, "Where's this man? Cannot? He's a council person. He's a pastor. Good gracious, he's a pastor, and claiming the name of Christ, and a council person, and here he is." Go ahead, you got
Right
some.
here. I mean, nobody can find this man.
Yeah,
Nobody.
yeah. That don't. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just floored by all of this.
You know that they know where he is. They can follow every single move. They can listen to our phone calls. They watch every transaction that we make financially. There's no
Right here.
way that
This is what
somebody
he
can go.
looks like. I'm sure he's changed his identity. You know, I had somebody stop by the office the other day, about probably 6 weeks ago, and they said that there is an Uber driver. A couple of the Uber drivers had been talking, and or whatever that is that delivers food, and they said there is a house in Madison County that is getting food. They just leave the money outside, and the food's being delivered. It's all cash. And it's on one of the properties by one of the elected officials.
Wow.
And I'm like, y'all get me some coordinates.
Wow.
And I'll figure out whose house it is.
Why don't you put on a U.S. Marshal uniform, Miss Catherine? Pull your hair back and put a hat on.
Yeah, I mean, people just stop by my office with all kinds of random things all the time. So, I mean, people are watching, people are listening. I feel for Jamie Lynn and her kids, you know, and if I were these elected officials, this is such a disgrace to the county that you have lost an elected official who is a child predator and no one can find him.
Oh, they know where he is. And the marshals probably do. Oh, well, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got so many problems in Madison County. It's unbelievable. So, which brings me to dispatch. This is a whole nother thing. And I was kind of hot and heavy on this topic on dispatch. And then I kind of got pulled off of it a little bit because we had to talk about Russ's, what do you want to call it? Corruption, criminal behavior. I don't know what you would just want to call it, but so, and I really need to follow that out until Monday. And we just need to go ahead and get some handcuffs and put Russ in jail so we can move on to other bigger things that are important.
Yeah, Monday. I'll get everybody on here. Why don't you come to the meeting on August the 5th, right? We'll find out the time. Try and I'm going to say it's going to be at 10 o'clock in the morning again. That's what it was.
I would imagine that it would be close, but I can see where these guys would flip it just to cause chaos. So yeah. And here's the thing, everybody. This is what I would encourage everybody to do. Just go ahead and bring your statement of what Russ has violated. And as soon as Linda is done colluding with Russ, we can walk upstairs and we can all file a paper that says Russ is interfering with elections, and we can just go ahead and begin the process.
That or just come fill a seat, Catherine. If people just want to
fill a seat too, I'll take anything at this point.
Yeah. That for me, that's where it started.
I'll take
fill a seat. So, but definitely, if we got some bold people to go upstairs and file. So, yeah, I'm sorry to get you off track, but I just would like people to show up. I really would. They need to start attending the meetings if they can.
The thing. We need more people in numbers to show up.
Yeah, or hit the live stream too,
and share the posts. Share all this stuff. Let people hear, what's going on. If people want to defend Russ, have at it. But your ship is going that way.
Yeah, but that's the freedom that we have right now in America. We're not going to have that, people. We are not going to have that. We're going to lose that.
Yeah.
That H Bill 1338 already is trying to keep us from, and you heard Russ whisper, we got to do something about this. We got to shut this down. Okay. They're going to shut us down if we don't speak up. We need to get in there and speak up with respect.
Yes.
I wasn't disrespectful. I just stood up there and said what I had to say. I wasn't disrespectful. But Russ kind of was getting scared, wasn't he? Because he said, we got to stop this. We got to shut this down.
Well, because too much truth was coming out.
Yeah.
Teresa's absolutely right. Russ works weight and measures. He is getting paid to do 2 jobs at the same time. This is just craziness of what we, the people, have allowed to take place.
That's it. We've allowed them to do this. It's time to stop.
Right.
It's time to stop.
And so I decided, I used to be part of the problem. Now I'm going to be part of the solution.
Yeah, me too. I was too, Catherine. That's you and I together.
Yeah.
We got to get some more people behind us.
Shelley says it best. If you stay quiet, then you're complicit.
Right. And we're not going to have a voice.
Yeah. Showing up is not staying quiet. You don't have to speak, but showing up.
Right.
That's really important. And believe me, Russ doesn't really know who a lot of people are. That even makes it better when strangers are sitting in the audience looking at him.
This was so funny, Catherine. I got to tell you this. So at that meeting, the last meeting, and I got up and spoke. Did you see Linda Smith address me with my middle last name?
Yes.
Did you catch that?
Oh, I'm like, dang, Cindy's popular. She moved here from Ohio and she even knows Cindy's last name.
She knew I don't know how she knew my middle last name. I've got a weird middle name. And I did not sign we didn't have a sheet to sign where she would have known my name, because the public wasn't allowed to speak. We just spoke. So she didn't have a piece of paper saying that's her name, but she called me by my middle last name, which was very strange. So
they're watching, they're paying attention. And here's the thing. They're starting to get the idea. The gig is up. When you can answer more questions about the election voting machines than our own clerk can, that's a huge problem. That just tells me right there, you don't know anything that's going on.
Well, Russ Willis himself, when I went to the public testing, I said, cast the vote records. He says, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, I requested to have cast the vote records. He says, I don't have a clue what you're talking about. That's not what are you talking about? So he didn't even know that the machines put out a tabulation that's called cast the vote record. It's the most accurate record. He didn't even know that. So there you have it. They don't know about their machines. She doesn't know even the name. She could hardly think of the name of the machine when we ask her. So they're not reading the manuals. They don't understand.
Listen, these guys are not doing anything. I don't even want to hear Linda speak. Another thing of, I've only been in my seat for Linda. You've already gone through one primary. You've already gone through one election, and then you went through another primary. If you don't have it by now and you're that slow of a learner, resign. That's all I got to say. Resign. Because I'm sick and tired of hearing what you don't know. You should have never run for the position if you don't know how to do it. That's how I feel about it.
Well, I think she should be afraid with this felony 6 against Russ. I think Linda should be afraid because the buck stops with her. So I think she should be running scared too. She should be asking some questions. So I don't know what's going on behind closed doors between Russ and Linda and whoever else. Maybe Terry. Terry wasn't too happy about that meeting.
She was not. And and that's the thing. We're going to see if they're all in bed together. Because if the Democrats find a loophole and support Russ, we only have one party in this county anymore then. That is what it's going to show. They're going to show their cards. All we're doing is calling their bluff.
Well, there hardly is any parties. They're just all.
Yeah, and they're going to show that.
Yeah.
They're going to show that on August 5th. Depending on how they vote, they're going to show us everything. So this
So
will be a real interesting thing to see.
can't Russ
So-
be replaced? Can't Lannon sit in there for him?
Well,
Because
he's
it's
a
against him.
Democrat person, so they can pick somebody to be put in there. But here's the thing: if they put Rob Steele in there, if they put Anthony Emery in there, or if they put one of these swamp creatures in there, I mean, the biggest swamp creature who is got to be the most disgusting of them all that I have watched is Kelly Hewer.
Don't know her. Don't know
She's
of
the
her.
vice chair. She'll look at
Oh,
you and
that's
be
right.
as
You
sweet
tell
as
me
pie to
that.
your face
Yeah.
and just stab you in your back like there's no tomorrow. She is that true politician. Let me smile. Let me say I don't know anything. Let me play the victim or stupid or whatever she wants to do. But she is just as awful as Russ Willis.
Controlled by him again. We need
Yeah.
to find out.
I mean, her husband's best friends with Russ. You know, I mean, and she kind of showed her true colors on the night of the night before the election, because she's calling everybody. I didn't know about that letter that went out with Catherine. Please let Catherine know I didn't. Give me a break, Kelly. You just pulled down the whole booth. If you really had respect for people, if you really were about the people, that booth would have stayed in place, because you would have had some integrity to say, if Catherine wants to work a booth, she's a registered Republican. So is Nicole. They have the right to work the booth. Now, everybody needs to put their big girl panties on and get over it, because she's working the booth. But Kelly Hewer's not for the people.
Political Spotlight just said that Kelly's wanting Russ's seat.
Oh,
when he gets out of it.
absolutely. No, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Kelly is vying for that seat as much as she can. She was running so much interference the night before the election with that pamphlet that I'm thinking to myself, are you bleeding at your fingertips? I mean, Kelly, the more you try to defend something you're not, makes you look guilty. Don't ever.
This is a mess. We need help. People,
Yeah,
please
Kelly
help.
Hewer has to be eliminated. She cannot be in that position anymore. Linda Smith cannot be the clerk because she can't do the right thing. I mean, when your clerk is dirty, the whole county's dirty.
Got that right.
You know,
That
people
right.
want to talk about, oh, this person lost this election. How do we know? Nobody can even watch the election.
Mm-mm. No.
You know, Rob Steele has to go.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm grateful that Anthony Emery and Ben Gale are going. I can't even imagine that a state trooper can be this way. I have a lot of respect for state troopers, but I want to tell you, with a cockroach like Anthony Emery, I'm not looking too highly.
Which
I
one's
mean-
which one's in the Masons?
Anthony Emery.
Anthony Emery. It's not Gail, it's Anthony Emery.
Yeah,
He's
and you
the
know how we
trooper.
know it's Anthony Emery? Because he drives his state police truck to the meetings. Yes, you're welcome that the taxpayers are doing that.
Arrogance.
You know, and that's what I mean. These people just believe they're untouchable. Well, here's a news flash. I'm going to reach out and touch you through all the videos so everybody can see.
You're doing a good job. You're doing a
Yeah,
good job.
so you know, it's just one of those things. I mean, I'm excited for Monday to come.
Yeah, I am too. And I want to get a lot of people there. And you wanted to talk about
Yeah, so I got a little clip there, Kate, on the dispatch center. This is a whole mess within itself. Let's watch this.
well, yeah, we won't have any 911.
Madison
We won't have-
County. Thank you, Nicole, for doing this video.
The second item for tonight, I have a statement regarding the dispatch center funding. As many of you know, an interlocal agreement was put into place roughly 12 years ago to establish a consolidated dispatch center in Madison County. At that time, there were 4 separate dispatch centers. This consolidation reduced the countywide cost of covering these services and improved efficiency and communication between our citizens and first responders. When the dispatch center was set up, the county funded the building of the dispatch center and the purchase of radios and equipment for other municipalities. 14 municipalities paid dispatch fees during the 10-year interlocal agreement. 12 of those municipalities have continued paying dispatch fees while waiting on a new agreement. Those fees paid for operational costs of the dispatch center. The county, in addition to the dispatch fees that it pays, also continues to pay on the bonds that were used to purchase the radios, and at times additional money for maintenance costs or other expenses. During the 10-year interlocal agreement, and in the 2 years following its expiration, dispatch fees for the municipalities have remained set at the original price. As operational costs due to inflation have increased, the fees for the municipalities have not. The leadership of the dispatch center has worked hard to run an efficient operation. The interlocal agreement stated that at the end of the 10 years, all parties would negotiate in good faith to put a new agreement in place. Our commissioners have been working on this negotiation for over 3 years now. Unfortunately, Elwood and Alexandria have concluded that they no longer have an obligation to pay dispatch fees, but they expect the same services. It has also been shared with me by several representatives of other municipalities that Elwood has approached them to try to get them to stop paying dispatch fees and put the entire financial burden on the county. I am thankful for those who understand the importance of this operation and have refrained from taking this destructive path. I have reviewed the emails between Elwood and Madison County and that were part of this negotiation. From what I have seen and from conversations I've had with Commissioner Richwine, our attorney, and others, I am of the opinion that Elwood and Alexandria have not been negotiating in good faith. In 2024, the county has appropriated $1,522,523 to the operational cost of the dispatch center. Second to the county is the city of Anderson at $1,172,523. Both Elwood and Alexandria were paying $90,000 per year, but have not paid dispatch fees in over 2 years, while we have continued to provide the same services to their communities. After many attempts at negotiation, it was concluded that we needed to investigate other paths to settle this matter and to make sure that first responders and the citizens of Madison County would still have the full services of the dispatch center and its employees, who are an integral part of the public safety family. It was determined that a resolution could be passed by the tax council that would allow for dispatch fees to be held from each municipality prior to settlement. In other words, the fees would be taken off the top, then the municipalities would receive the remainder of the public safety tax revenue. Knowing we would need a majority vote of the tax council under the current circumstances, this would require the resolution to be passed by the Madison County Council and the Anderson City Council. The idea was presented to the president of the Anderson City Council. At first, he seemed to support the idea. He scheduled a special meeting for the City Council to discuss and decide on this resolution. Public notices were sent out. This resolution was originally on our agenda for tonight, and it was on the agenda of the special meeting at the Anderson City Council that would take place on July 18th. Last week, I was notified by a member of the Anderson City Council that their president had canceled the meeting and would no longer allow this to be on their agenda. I and others made attempts to contact him to request that he reconsider, but at this point, it is my understanding that his mind has not changed. Without the help of the Anderson City Council, this resolution will not make it through the tax council, so it would be frivolous for the county council to consider this resolution tonight. Therefore, I've removed it from the agenda. We must consider a different approach to ensure adequate funding for the dispatch center operations. Myself and others involved in this discussion have been told by representatives of Elwood that they believe the answer is for the county council to pass a PSAP tax. This would be a tax increase for the citizens of Madison County. So simply put, they do not want to pay dispatch fees anymore. They want the citizens of the entire county to pay increased taxes. I conveyed my opinion that this was not a real option. I do not intend to bring a tax increase to this council, nor do I believe a tax increase would pass if I did bring it to this council. I encourage them to work with us on a realistic option. They continue to insist that this is the appropriate path. My personal belief is that they are playing politics with public safety, and it saddens me. My personal belief is that they are playing politics with public safety, and it saddens me. This is an issue that must be solved with a practical solution, not a tax increase. I have spoken to Commissioner Richwine, and we intend to have conversation in the near future about other ways to relieve the financial strain on the dispatch center due to those who choose not to pay for the services provided to them. Unfortunately, this may mean looking closely at the services offered by dispatch center and making decisions on what services can and cannot be offered. So I will keep you all posted as things develop.
So that's the end of that. So now this is a whole other show. I'm just kind of going to give a little bit of synopsis because this one is a very long show. But listen to what Ben Gale, he always lectures, and all the municipalities were going to be there that night. And then when they told him they removed it from the agenda, those municipalities did not come. Ben Gale took that moment to lecture, and nobody was there to defend what had truly taken place.
Of course.
That is the disgusting part of this swamp.
Of course.
They are deceitful. They will do anything to turn the tide to make themselves look good. So what Ben Gale fails to tell people is the only person playing politics with public safety is this county council. And I'm going to show you, Kate, I sent you, there's a little clip from Ted Nolting. That's the next one. This is the county attorney in 2022 who sent this, who said, if the city does not make this payment by December 31st, the county will immediately cease dispatch services to the city and institute legal action to collect this delinquent amount. Our county attorney is threatening to take this away from the people. Now, they understand that Elwood has a fallen officer. That Officer Chanovez, had he not had dispatch, not that it changed the outcome, but more officers were en route and they were able to get this gentleman who shot him off the streets pretty quickly. If they didn't have access to dispatch, then what? If my mother is having a heart attack and I can't get to dispatch and they're not sent to me, it's the county who's going to do this. And here's the thing. This isn't Ted Nolting's first letter that he's ever sent out. You ought to have seen the stuff he sent to the coroner's office, always threatening to sue us, and we were overspending. And we were overspending on autopsies. It's Indiana code that you have to give me enough money in order for me to do a death investigation. I can't just sign a death certificate and not have a cause of death unless I'm certain. So this is how the county plays politics with public safety. They've got a pretty good track record from the coroner's office to now this. So this is kind of an appetizer of what's happening. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, these municipalities got behind the county. They got behind Rodney Cummings. They got behind the judges, and they said, okay, we will help raise local income taxes. We will vote in favor of this for the people. So they all vote, and it comes to the county council. Well, it's election year. We don't want Likens not to win. So what does she do? She's the final vote that's casted, and it tips the scales where the county says, we don't need the local income taxes to be raised. We're okay. Well, that's great that you're okay. but they still benefited because the majority voted for the local income tax to be raised. When that was raised, the county was only bringing in 2.2 in local income taxes. It went up to 5.5. This means the county had an excess amount of $3.3 million. They only need 90,000 from Elwood and 90,000 from Alexandria. Well, Alexandria not only did their job by finding other alternatives, they exceeded their job. Because if you take 180,000 away from 3.3 million, the county came out ahead and they didn't even have to vote for the taxes. So they look like these great people. Well, I'm not sure how you're saying that they didn't meet their obligation because, Kate, I've got the contract right there. You put this contract up and it says in the contract down at the bottom, I don't know if we can make it scroll up just a little bit.
Oops,
We can just
upside.
turn it. Or we could, it says in there, if they find other fundings, that they're off the hook. They found the other, and it says buy taxes or however, that's what they did. They found the other funding. They actually got the county way more money than what they even needed to pay. I mean, with that, the city shouldn't even be paying. You know, they said that if we raise this local income tax, they'd put more officers on the road. There you go. During the term of this agreement, the parties will attempt in good faith to find alternative sources. Okay, well, they found them right there. Telephone tax amendments, income tax amendments, or alternative. They did their job. I don't know what else they want from these people.
Didn't the commissioners have something to do with this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, here's the thing. If you go to 2023 and you look at Gateway, Rick Gardner continues to run his mouth saying we've got $40 million in all these different pots.
Oh, yeah.
Live is 40 million, right?
It's up
Well,
to 40 million.
Gateway at the end of 2023, it says we have 105 million. Would somebody like to tell me where $65 million is? We have enough money in Madison County right now that if they didn't take any more taxes for us from 1 year, we should be able to pay all our bills. So this is a whole nother story that we need to entertain.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's only one group that's playing politics with public safety.
Mm-hmm.
The mayors are protecting their people. They've put out more officers. Elwood has put out several more officers. Several. What has the county done? They have blackballed Beeman. They have
that's another
one
story.
officer.
Yeah.
I mean, this is if we're gonna spew diarrhea at the mouth, then I'm just gonna call it like it is.
Well, you know why? Because they need money to fund that jail.
Oh, because they've screwed up royally. And here's the thing, Madison County. The majority of you keep voting in Rich Wine. He has been in that seat now for 24 years. He is the one that has screwed over all of us by not having any type of insight, no vision that we were going to need a jail and we were going to need money. He is the one who has screwed this up, along with the Republican chair who's been in his seat for over a decade, who is a complete nightmare. Those are the people who keep screwing up. The Lycans, they're in that ball game too, because they've been in these seats for decades too. But hey, the Lycans, you know what they should have done? They should have donated the land, because they certainly have taken enough from the people. They should have donated the land free and written that off as a tax deduction. They donated how much to community hospital. So all these people are corrupt.
But see, I doubt the fact that Rich Wine's been voted in, because I believe in rigged elections. So like with Devin Norrick, when he lost by 3,
yeah.
If we could have counted every single ballot and gone to every single house and made sure the person in the house at the address actually signed that ballot, we might have found 3+ more ballots that were signed by dead people.
You know, I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. I really never. But I will tell you, fair election processes are not happening in this county and have not been happening for so long time.
So maybe rich wine wasn't voted in there. You said, and I'm not trying to be mean to you. You said, why do you keep voting rich wine in? Well, maybe they're not.
No,
Maybe
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't believe Lisa Rinker lost the race. I absolutely do not.
Yeah.
I
So,
absolutely believe that she won that race.
For me, everything boils down to election integrity.
And we have none in
boils down
Madison
to
County.
election integrity.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I mean, and maybe we'll say maybe so, because a lot of people, and when I was an uneducated voter, if I knew the name Rich Wine and maybe he went to a church and I knew somebody there that liked him, maybe I'd say, instead of doing my research, maybe I say, oh, I'll vote for Rich Wine. I would just be lazy about it.
Yeah. And people vote for name recognition.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'll give some of that, but we've got to stop that, people.
Rich Wine has no opponent. He is a win. He has no opponent. He is a win. Todd Culp, he is a win.
Well, that's where your job
comes in. Why don't we ask for a recount? Because it costs a lot of money. Yeah. I think Devin Norris was somewhere in the $6,000 to $8,000 mark for him to do the recount. And that wasn't even a full recount. That's how crazy it is.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It wasn't a full recount. So if
and that's for $6,000 to $8,000, that's a lot of money.
You cannot tell me he lost that seat by 3 to a Likens family member. You cannot convince me that he lost by 3. You cannot, unless it was a full recount and we went out and took those ballots and checked the ballots against the addresses and the dead people and the live people and everything.
I just don't think that people should have to pay for a recount. That should be a service that's given to the people. It's our system.
That's probably true. But I told him to contest that. I said, you have got to contest that.
And he did, but it's 3. I mean, it's just so much money. It's just so much money. Yeah. And so, I mean, it is what it is. And we're going to just keep moving forward. The biggest thing right now is I don't know how they're going to be able to argue this video, this whole thing with Joswiak. This is the final key to the puzzle.
I think so.
Yeah, this is the final key.
I think it is. I'm glad you've sent this to the AG, and I hope some other people do too. And get us those links that we need, that we talked about earlier. Get us some links. And there's people out there, there's people out there just like me that need this, that need, you've got the capabilities, the technology. I'm so terrible at technology. Yep. But, we can pick up on that. We can send a letter. We can email. We can call, whatever, if we have the proper information. So, and you're great at that.
So we'll start putting that out. Miss Crooms does a great job putting that stuff out too. So
she's awesome.
I love what's going on, but we'll just go from there. But anyways, I thank you for coming on with me tonight. I'm grateful, Kate. I'm grateful for you that you've been there with us this whole time.
Yeah, there she is.
Good show. So if you need anything, let us know, and hopefully Chris will let us have Monday night. As we go through that election on Monday and see what they say, that he'll let us jump on and tell you how corrupt Madison County is.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting to watch. So,
so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Thank you, Kate, for letting Katherine and I be able to chasing a fly there, by the way, if you see me doing that. Have this platform to be able to share with Madison County. I mean, we've got to get the word out.
And we've got to find Steve Sumner.
Oh, yeah.
He holds a lot of this.
Oh, yeah.
I have a feeling we have a few more pedophilers in our group.
I hear we do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we do.
Yeah, so we've got to find him, and what a great group of women coming together. And I chose Christopher's program. I forget how I found out about him, maybe through Katherine, maybe, I don't know, but I wanted to hear from him and learn from him politics and things. So, he's good at that. He's good at
ring your bell, do your like, do a little dance, do a little shake.
And especially for Madison County viewers, share the show.
Yeah, share the show.
Get the word out on what's going on over there in Madison County. It's really important what's going on.
It is.
Oh, and look, someone's been watching us, because that is not me typing.
Oh, Bilbrey.
So Bilbrey's
Did you have a little withdrawal tonight?
You did just want to pop on here at the tail end to remind us that We will
That's
be
awesome.
on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. I think tomorrow might be a Sproles night.
So
Oh,
Christopher
bring back
Bilbrey will be
Sproles.
live tomorrow night at 9 p.m. He will be back by popular demand.
Beanbag scrolls.
Right.
That's right.
Oh,
So
my.
I hope everybody had a good time with the ladies tonight. I want to thank you both for coming on. It's always a pleasure to have you both and to hear about the craziness in Madison County. Hopefully we can help you guys move the bar along and help improve things over there.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate
We
that.
appreciate you all, and thank you everybody who's been viewing us tonight. We will be back tomorrow at 9, and I hope you all have a very good night. We'll
Night,
say,
everybody.
as Christopher does, God bless you, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
And if you know,